Thank you, everybody, for coming. Again, my name is Preethy Padmanabhan. I'm the founder and host of 10x Growth Strategies. My day job, I'm the head of marketing for Cisco IoT business unit.
Hi everyone, I'm Purvi Desai. I am Vice President Engineering in Zscaler, and Zscaler, those you don't know, it's a cybersecurity company. I would say a quick bio about myself is that I have been in networking and network security industry for the last 25 years. Been through a few startups, NetScreen, Zscaler when they were all early companies. Also some large companies like Google and Juniper. And now I'm back in Zscaler. So my entire life, I always wondered why security is so hard. In a sense that it's not hard as a builder, but it's very hard for the customers because there's always kind of friction. And lately, in last few years in Google, I realized I really want to make sure that we are able to measure how security is working for the end users and how actually is the outcome. So now in Zscaler, I'm leading the product line called the Zscaler Digital Experience, which helps measure and optimize the experience of the end users. So this is the passion.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Raul Liive. I'm a product director in Veriff. We are a identity scale-up using AI, and we are powering identity to many of the biggest global brands. For example, Instacart, Uber, Bumble, and many others. And we help to solve all your identity problems.
So, Purvi, we'll start with you. AI has been accelerating both innovation and risk at the same time. From your perspective, what has fundamentally changed about customer trust in the last 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, so about 15 months back, the question was, can AI do something? Now, the topmost question that customers have is, can AI do this predictably, accurately, and with all the right governance models and security models? So can it actually follow the same security policies or that I really want to execute in terms of what agents can access, what data can they access, what tools can they access, what will they give back to the user or the agents are being called? Is there traceability? Is there a compliance where the memory is being stored, where the data is being stored? There are a lot of things that go into the play behind the scene. But I would say it starts first with AI behaving predictably as well as accurately, right? So these are the most important things where I think customers are looking for trust within their own enterprise as well as from the products which are AI powered.
So, Rahul, as Purvi was mentioning, right, customers are adopting AI. There are all these challenges because they're not able to immediately govern it as fast as it's being adopted. What are some of the biggest concerns enterprises are bringing to you today, like security, identity, reliability?
Well, if I would look on the identity space and what is one of the challenges on our end of the world is that if you look back few years, like if you go to few years back before we had ChatGPT and all the other tools available, then when you wanted to fake your document, then you actually needed to put work on it. Let's say in the most simplistic way, you needed to open, let's say, Microsoft Paint or any other tool. You needed to do some editing there, and then you had one fake document as output. Right now, you can send to your beloved agent and ask, please create me 1,000 or 10,000. That 5 minutes later, you will have all of these fake documents available. So that is the thing where we have the scale is completely going to a different level, and we are seeing a new industries forming. There is like essentially fraud as a service is emerging right now over the past year or so.
So we have engineering leader here, Purvi, right, leading engineering, and AI is impacting a lot of engineering workflows. Would love to hear how AI is impacting engineering workflows at Zscaler.
So AI actually at this point has impacted almost all stages of the software development lifecycle. Not only that, even before that, for example, PRDs, or there's a lot more that gets done now at each stage. Let's say 12 months back, 15 months back, if we had been pretty more like a co-pilot, can it generate this code? Can it code review? Can it do this? Now it is a full blown work. So there are different type of workflows where people starts from greenfield. Greenfield is much easier. Earlier, 15 months back, it was largely a co-pilot style, assistant style, do this code review and XYZ. But now it is full-blown workflow from MD file driven, the spec for the PRD, to the point even there is now a architecture brainstorming that you get to be agents. You have coding agents, you have review agents, you have different agents, different LLMs for different type of codes. So there is a greenfield is much different in terms of building new. Even for brownfield, we see now a lot of, I would say, a lot of agent engineering, not so much as the earlier assistant code pilot style engineering. However, the challenges are also there. I mean, LLMs do hallucinate. They do have constraints on what type of, how much context can we take. So there's a lot of effort that goes into understanding what is the right scope for any agentic command, because we don't want to build a whole system which generates 10,000 lines of code or even more, or 50, 60, 70, 100,000 lines of code, and then there's nobody to review, and then that is just not scalable. So the day zero, putting together a POC, which is a polished looking POC, it's very easy. I think everybody knows nowadays. Do it 2 or 3 days, you can put together a beautiful looking app, which almost says the right things. But to get it right, to deliver it accurately, to deliver it with consistency and predictably, that is where there's a lot of engineering that goes in terms of picking the right code, either the harness. There are so many harnesses available today to even actually do the engineering. So pick the right harness, pick the right LLM, put the right prompt files. It's almost like you have now new AI-driven engineering principles. Yeah. So this is where a lot of energy is going in terms of maturing. See, SDLC that we know of has matured over so many decades. And now that is being, in a way, reimagined through the agentic engineering.
Yeah, no, great insights. Like reimagining the whole engineering process, workflows, everything has to be done. Yes. So Rahul, you mentioned about this whole aspect of, the fake content and deep fakes and all of that thing that's could be created, right? So how does that impact your business, right? In terms of providing identity and for with all these workflows, we love your perspective.
So I think the identity on that side has been changing a lot, as well. Previously, what identity was for many of the companies was that when they were onboarding new users, then they figured out what's the identity, who they are onboarding. But right now, it has all emerged to the level that who they were, who they are today, are they still tomorrow those same persons, and do they still have a good intent tomorrow? Because all of that is in a constant flux over the time. And we know the AIs and all the agents were, on one hand, they can create an amount of fake documents. They also create a lot of engineering opportunities, what Purvi was just talking about. But then on the other hand, if you are protecting against this, then it creates a set of challenges, because it gives a lot of advantages to the other side of the people on the table. So from our side, there's a lot of work ongoing constantly, how we can differentiate, was this a real person versus was there agent involved, or was there any kind of order coding involved to get there?
Yeah, no, totally. I think, Purvi, in that sense, if you talked about how AI is now impacting across the engineering, what are some productivity gains that you're seeing as a result of that? And you also talked about like hallucinations and unpredictable outcomes. What does trustworthy AI look like from an engineering and platform?
Absolutely. So I think I touched upon it in the first question of yours too. Yeah. From the first trust point is like, is the data accurate? If somebody is going to make a decision based on what agent is generating, it better be accurate. And it better be predictable. So if we are building, let's say, not just for our own self AI-driven development, but let's say AI-based product, and a customer works with it, and it's, let's say, in my area, digital experience, root causing, or finding the experience. If the answer is different, completely different, then it is not usable. So it has to be something which is very accurate to. And when you are dealing with something which is a human like in the conversation, which is as good as a human actually, then uh, the type of questions and type of answers that you're going to give, they're not going to be the same. It's not like the standard APIs. But still, at the end, the outcome has to be the same.
Yeah.
So, what is that business outcome that we are building for? That needs to be predictable and that needs to be accurate. These two are non negotiable. Then comes all the other requirements for building the trust. Right? Is it what somebody was like? Is it a YOLO bomb? Right? It cannot be. Right? It cannot be that to now answer a question, it looks at all other customers' information, and now in between when it has to give it also gives other customers information. You can't have those kind of data leakage. So compliance, governance, I talked about in the beginning, the data store, uh, and also traceability.
Yeah.
Right? So all of this are so important. Now even more. All of the if you see in the past also microservices model did exist. I was on that bleeding edge as well when there was a modernization edge or the mobile edge. Every edge there's this kind of problems have remained the same. But now because of the way the APIs are more that say consistent in terms of how they behave, the challenge has become multifold in how you are going to judge something. So you'd also need evaluation systems to tell whether the answer was right. And you need offline evaluation, live evaluation. So we do that all within our organization. When we are building this, we have the evals, we have the judge, we have the adversary to say no answer is what. So those are the type of patterns that we look at.
Yeah.
To build the right card and then also for that.
And that's great. That also opens opportunities for startups also in a way, in multiple.
Absolutely. I would say there are so many open source tools too, but that entire space right now is an opportunity for someone create hardness. But people can plug in and they can easily build some.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, this is actually a great segue from around up to hear about Veriff, right? What is Veriff and how is Veriff using AI to secure operations, fraud detection, customer experience without compromising on trust and other aspects that they talk.
On our side, when I look back at it, we were using the machine learning and all of that way before LLMs were here, and we are still using them heavily. And it's all about on company level, I'll say it's all about figuring out what are the right tools for the right problem that you need to handle it. And for us, from AI perspective, for many of our things, we are using machine learning, and we are keeping to use machine learning because if you have specialized machine learning solutions which are there to solve problems, then it's much cheaper and much more effective to use them for certain amount of problems. But then if I look now wider to many of the areas what Purvi mentioned, like product development, coding, AI outreach, GTM works, there you need to go to the so-called LLM worlds. And we are using them really heavily on a way. And then I saw on one of the interesting thing what was from me a while ago, like I saw there was someone raising a bug and discussing a bug in a Slack thread. And the developer looked at it, added a few comments, and said comment to the AI like, hey, please fix it now. And then later on, the AI created a commit and PR review ask. So and then that is on engineering side, you use it really heavily to guide everyone through it and to write the code, to review the code. You still need to have humans oversight and to make sure that nothing goes bad on that side, because AI, as everyone knows, can hallucinate, and then some of those hallucinations can get really expensive and hard. But depending on which moments the AI does it, so you need to have your set of controls in place always. And then also for like engineering users, we have built AI which has access to our internal data, and it's so easy to handle everything on that end. Like you need to do deep analysis, you need to do anything like that. You can just ask the AI, give it a description of what you need, and then it will do it for you. Or you have agents which build out complete stack related things for you, just to know what it does is that it empowers everyone to do those things by themselves. It's like I have right now, when I work together from a product side, a lot of it the GTM side, like on set of complex data requests what they sometimes need on a customer level. Previously, they needed to go to the data teams who queried it all out, figured it all out, that it's all there. Now, for quite an amount of things, they can just write to the AI, which will get to them the data, and then based on what is the input and what is the you're going to get really good data back, but you need to have certain amount of controls there to make sure that this data is not hallucinated data, because otherwise, like if you would ask your AI to give me this data to use, let's say on a new sales prospect, and then AI hallucinated, then if you will give it out without any checks, then you would have later on really big problem because you gave out the false commitments or false promises. So you can't do that. So, but we are really deeply all on AI, and from every single side of the company.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to see that example of Udoi across the board. Any questions for the panel here? Yes.
In the world of AI, like how are you evaluating the vendors into an enterprise? And what is the biggest blind spot you see for the enterprises in the evaluation of new AI case?
So overall, I think in the enterprises, there are many tools that people use. I will be able to talk from engineering perspective because there are so many tools, marketing, sales, business intelligence. From engineering perspective, when we are evaluating any of those tools, most important thing is it something that is going to keep us on the leading edge? Because we don't want to get stuck on a place where how every month there is a new model. Every month there's a new patent, superpowers or super edit, or so many different ways that we can do things. So the most important thing from engineering perspective I can talk about is that we don't want to get stuck at a place that now we could not keep up with the leading edge of AI. That is one. And B, of course, it has to pass through all the compliance and security and all the requirements that company would have, because we can't just start using to work on this crown jewel, which is IP. And the third is how easy it is to insert into the existing tools that they're using. So some people are still on the, don't say still, but there are different type of development tools, right? VS Code or Xcode or IntelliJ. And many of them have moved on to CLIs, right? So in some ways, it has to be able to meet the developers where they are in their experience. So I can talk about it from engineering. We can give some examples from other area too, but maybe Raul can give better examples for his product management or...
Great examples, thank you. Yeah,
Awesome.
I would love to hear your perspective.
So how you validate vendors in a way, it's like you want to see their, like as you said, on looking on engineering side, the same thing is actually to a very big extent applies from a product end as well, and on that side, because you want to work with the companies who are there in next 5 years and who are leading companies in that time frame as well. And you need to really validate, are they actually helping you to solve the problems what you need? And also on the AI, and for us, what is extremely important is that we work with huge amount of private data of the people. Like we store millions and millions of people's passport photos, their biometric data, all of that. Security is a top thing for us. Because we need to make sure that whatever we use, that keeps that stays in house, that doesn't go walking anywhere, and that the customer data is really well segregated, so that one customer can never ever have any hint on any other customers, because that would be really bad from a data perspective and from a trust perspective. So for us, trustability is extremely important for selecting any vendor for us, be it related to AI, related to engineering, related to any kind of other company who might sell us anything. We need to be able to trust those companies because we just have such an amount of trust from our customers towards us. And as we are in a trust business, then losing that trust will be everything.
That's good. That's a great summary for the actual pan and winning customer trust in there. So
Great.
one last quick question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so given that your engineering teams are outputting a lot faster, pretty sick, the people concept is easier to come by. How are you how much of their effort is going to validating EIS output, and then how are you kind of reallocating their energy? I know in order to benefit, let's be honest, I hear you more focused on trust. I'd like to hear about that.
Right now, when we also go and look at industry standards or leading conferences, some folks would say they are saying 15x productivity. So what happens is though that when it's beginning and when you're still we are putting together evals and right level of human in the loop flows and the offline evals, live evals. It takes a lot of time to put together all those framework in the beginning. By the time, so the productivity in the beginning is not 12x. So in the beginning, there is not so much about taking whatever bandwidth we have and then moving it into somewhere else. Actually, in the beginning, the low-hanging fruit is faster. So in a sense, the bug fixes and those kind of things, like small code generations, because it's easy to verify. They are easy to review. So those kind of things go very fast. And all that productivity gains that we had in the beginning, because now we are past that phase, we use it towards, of course, building now more product features or even putting together a broader harness for building the full workflow. So this is where now we are in the second phase, if I were to say, of our journey, like how we build the whole spec-driven development cycle from PRD to deployment. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is now we also do more. So the business is always there. So business will say, oh, you got this done, now do more. So it's still the same kind of prioritization that we have to look into. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's give a big round of applause for Thanks.